Food prices have climbed fast in recent years, and it hits every time I roll a cart down an aisle. I decided to fight back with grocery shopping hacks that actually work week after week. Today, I'm sharing the exact routine that lets me save around 40% without eating boring food. My first rule is simple and powerful. I choose the store based on price and not on habit or distance. Switching to a discount grocer or a big box option made a bigger difference than any tiny trick I tried before. I keep a short list of stores that consistently beat others on staples. One might crush it on produce, another wins on meat, and a third has the best private label snacks. I check weekly ads online, then pick the stop that gives me the best overall basket. I also scout non-traditional spots that are open to the public. Some restaurant supply or salvage outlets sell in regular sizes and offer surprising markdowns on pantry goods. If one is near you, compare a dozen items you buy all the time and see if it earns a place in your rotation. Next comes the private label advantage. Store brands often share manufacturers with national brands, and the quality on basics like oats, pasta, and canned tomatoes is excellent. I buy generic first, then upgrade only if the brand name version tastes clearly better. I avoid most prepackaged single-serve meals. Whole ingredients like rice, potatoes, oatmeal, beans, and frozen vegetables are cheaper per serving and keep me full longer. When chicken thighs, ground turkey, or pork shoulder go on sale, I build meals around those proteins for maximum value. A smart pantry is the engine behind supermarket savings. I stock versatile staples that combine easily, then add one or two fresh items to keep meals interesting. That way, I am not paying a premium for convenience packaging that disappears in 2 bites. Meal planning closes the loopholes where money leaks out. I set a weekly menu that fits our schedule, write a grocery list from that plan, and shop only for those items. This reduces food waste and ends the "what should we eat" spiral that leads to expensive takeout. I never shop hungry and I never shop without the list. Stores are designed to trigger impulse buying with end caps and limited time signs that create false urgency. A list keeps me focused and makes it easier to skip the extras that look fun in the moment and stale at home. Unit price is my favorite quiet superpower. Bigger is not always cheaper, so I compare the price per ounce or per pound on the shelf tag every single time. I use my phone calculator if the math is tricky, and I buy the cheapest unit price in the format I can actually finish. I also watch for packaging tricks that make products look larger than they are. Narrower tubs, taller bottles, and puffed bags can hide a higher cost per ounce. Unit price cuts through all of that and saves real money without changing what I eat. Pickup and delivery can be money savers when impulse buying is your weakness. Yes, there is a fee, but skipping unplanned snacks, gas, and an hour of temptation often beats that fee. I order online with my list open, swap items freely, and keep my total in check while sitting at the kitchen table. Loyalty programs and digital coupons stack nicely with sale prices. I clip the relevant offers in the app before I shop and let the discounts fire automatically at checkout. I ignore the "earn a reward if you spend more" traps unless it lines up with my plan. Cashback apps add a small but steady rebate on pantry items I buy anyway. I will not drive across town for 50 cents, yet scanning a receipt in 1 minute adds up over a month. I treat those payouts like a secret envelope that funds next week's groceries. When a true sale hits on a staple, I stock up within reason. I know how fast we consume oats, pasta, beans, and coffee, so I buy enough to cover the next sales cycle without crowding the pantry. A simple price book in my notes app helps me recognize a real deal on site. Freezers pay for themselves when used well. I portion raw meat into meal-size bags, label dates, and freeze flat so everything stacks neatly. I also freeze bread, berries, and leftover sauces so nothing slides toward the trash. Seasonal produce keeps quality high and prices low. I build salads, soups, and sheet pan dinners around what is in season, then rely on frozen veggies when out-of-season prices spike. Frozen produce is picked at peak and often beats the limp, pricey alternative. I always visit the clearance sections for bakery, dairy, and meat. Day-old bread makes excellent French toast, croutons, or grilled cheese, and markdown stickers on meat are perfect for tonight or the freezer. These racks move fast, so I check them first before filling the cart. The store layout is not an accident, so I shop with awareness. Eye-level shelves tend to carry higher margin items for adults, while the best values often sit higher or lower. I glance up and down for the off-brand twin that costs less and tastes the same. Kids' eye level is lower, and cereal characters frequently stare downward to meet little eyes. Knowing that helps me hold the line when bright boxes start calling for attention. I keep the list in hand and the focus on unit price and ingredients. I follow a simple 6 to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 framework for balanced shopping. That means 6 kinds of vegetables, 5 fruits, 4 proteins, 3 starches, 2 spreads or sauces, and 1 fun treat. This perimeter-first approach fills the cart with real food and still leaves room for something we look forward to. Cooking from scratch multiplies savings without stealing my whole evening. I batch cook rice, roast sheet pans of vegetables, and simmer a big pot of chili or lentil soup for the week. The cost per serving drops, nutrition improves, and we are less tempted to order out. Leftovers are ingredients, not afterthoughts. Fried rice with leftover rice and veggies, tortilla soup from roasted chicken bones, and quesadillas from last night's beans all stretch the budget effortlessly. A drizzle of sauce or a handful of herbs creates a completely new experience. Shred and slice your own ingredients whenever possible. Pre-shredded cheese, pre-cut fruit, and bagged veggie kits charge a convenience tax that adds up fast. A few minutes with a knife and box grater protects your grocery budget every single week. Recreate your favorite takeout meals at home. Smash burgers, burrito bowls, sesame noodles, and sheet pan fajitas are easy, fast, and wildly cheaper than delivery. I keep a small rotation of copycat recipes that scratch the craving without the delivery fee. When we do want a break from cooking, we choose value-forward options. Family meals, warehouse club rotisserie chicken with sides, or a local spot known for generous portions stretch across 2 dinners. We enjoy the treat while keeping our average weekly spend in the safe zone. Batch cooking gives future me a day off. On Sundays, I double the stew, roast extra chicken, and cook a second tray of roasted potatoes, then freeze labeled portions. Midweek me says thank you when the schedule gets hectic and the plan still holds. We run a monthly pantry challenge that turns hidden food into dinner. I pull cans, grains, and frozen bits from the back, then build a meal around what needs using first. It is fun, it fights waste, and it reminds me what not to rebuy until we finish what we own. Timing matters more than most shoppers realize. Midweek mornings can mean fresher markdowns on meat and bakery, and the aisles are calmer, so I make fewer mistakes. I spend less when I am not navigating crowds and rushing decisions. Checkout lanes are designed for last-second add-ons. I avoid the trap by parking a small, maybe, item in the child seat and reassessing before I pay. 9 times out of 10, I put it back and keep the budget intact. Cart size nudges spending, so I choose the smallest cart that fits my list. A basket for quick trips or a half cart for the weekly run keeps my total in line. When less empty space stares back at me, I feel less need to fill it. I also use a simple running total while I shop. I add prices on my phone and know my number before I reach the register. If I overshoot my target, I swap 1 or 2 items for cheaper equivalents and land right where I planned. Smart payment adds a quiet bonus. A no-fee card with elevated grocery rewards or a debit card with cashback on supermarkets returns a little every month. Rewards only help if I pay in full, so I treat them as savings, not as permission to overspend. Here is a quick reminder while you are here. If these grocery shopping hacks are helping you save money on groceries, tap like and subscribe so more people find the video. Tell me your favorite hidden deal spot in the comments and which store gives you the best basket price. Now let's talk protein strategy because it drives a big chunk of the budget. I rotate between the most affordable cuts and use marinades, rubs, and slow cooking to keep variety high. Chicken thighs, drumsticks, pork shoulder, and bone-in beef cuts deliver flavor at a lower price. I keep breakfast flexible and cheap. Oatmeal with fruit, eggs on toast, and yogurt with homemade granola cost pennies per serving compared to cereal boxes. Buying those components in bulk at the right store shrinks the bill without shrinking the meal. Snacks do not need designer labels to satisfy. Popcorn kernels, peanut butter on apple slices, and homemade trail mix from bulk bins beat single-serve packets every time. I portion snacks into containers so convenience is still there without the markup. Drinks can quietly torch a budget. I brew coffee at home, carry a water bottle, and flavor seltzer with a splash of juice instead of buying cases of sodas. The savings over a month are huge, and the clutter at home disappears. Spices and sauces are an inexpensive way to keep meals exciting. I buy core spices in small amounts to preserve freshness, then mix simple blends like taco seasoning or everything bagel seasoning at home. A few jars transform cheap ingredients into meals we crave. I keep an eye on expiration dates and first in, first out rotation. New items go behind the old ones, so we use what we bought first and waste less. That tiny habit protects the savings I worked hard to create. If a recipe calls for a niche ingredient I will rarely use, I improvise. I swap in a similar spice or make a minimalist version rather than buying a full-price bottle that gathers dust. Flexibility is a saving skill as valuable as any coupon. When holidays or big game days roll around, I shop early. Prices can jump and crowds strip shelves of the deals, so I gather what I need weeks ahead. That calm lead time keeps me out of last-minute traps. Finally, I measure success by the average of the month, not a single trip. Some weeks I stock up and spend a little more, and other weeks I glide by on the pantry for very little. The monthly grocery total tells the truth, and the trend stays pointed down. That is my complete supermarket strategy to shop smart and spend less. Choose the right store, buy generic where it counts, plan meals, compare unit price, and lean on loyalty programs without letting them steer you. Cook simply, love your leftovers, and let a few smart systems carry you to real, repeatable savings.